What up, See It All Outdoors? It has been a minute since I had a video to you guys. Well, first off, what is it? It's like December 19th, and ice fishing's coming. Trying to get ready here. But the big thing is my deer season's been terrible. Shot a doe right before the gun season. I got that on video. I'll get that put together for you guys. I've hit a buck. I've lost a buck. And it's been a tough season. Got to hunt one day of the shotgun, actually 2 days of the shotgun season. First day was good. I hunted with the group, and we got 4. And then I know they hunted the second day, and I think they got 7 more. But it's a good group. I love hunting with them. They're very ethical, very much so out there just for the meat, just to fill the tags. But thought I'd bring you guys a video here before I get back at it with the late season bow tagging. It's been a lot of years since I hunted a late season with the bow. Got a couple kids that got to go late season with gun as well, with muzzleloader, but I don't know. It's been a trying year, but it's been a fun year. I took myself back to the basics a little bit, as hopefully if I get some videos put together, you'll see. And I just made it fun again. I enjoyed every sit. I saw deer every sit. I let deer walk. I've let a lot of bucks walk, and the one that I shot, I really liked him. And, you know, myself and a buddy looked for a better part of an afternoon, and just, it was like that deer was abducted by aliens. We followed him for about 150 yards on a blood trail, and blood trail just stopped. And I don't know, I don't want to say the shot was questionable, because I didn't think it was. He was quartering away, the shot was back. Looked like he should have drove through the front shoulder, but it is what it is. We'll get out there late season, and I'm probably just going to end up taking the first good doe that walks by and finish that season out like that. And hopefully I can get my kids out and they can put some meat on our table as well. I know they enjoy doing that. So anyway, back to business here. Thought I'd bring you guys a video. I got a whole bunch of ice fishing reels here that need new line. And I know I always used to wonder, what's the right way to put it on the reel, or why do I always have line twists, things like that. So I thought I'd show you guys what I do. All of my ice fishing reels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are spinning reels, aside from my 2 schoolie rods, which they're spinning reels as well, so no big deal. But the reel I'm going to show you today is it's a Berkeley, and it's a reel I've had for quite a while, and I really like it. It's still very smooth. Does what I needed to do. I got that on a Fenwick, I believe it's a 23-inch, yeah, ultralight rod. Super sensitive tip, super light, works great. And the short rod works great in my one-man flip over too. So I'll show you the steps I go through to try to prevent some line twists. Also try to just get it on there and not have any complications later. I do things a little bit different on my ice rods than I do my summertime rods, just because you're usually reeling in a really light jig, so the line's not getting back on there tight. So I guess just follow along. If you guys got any questions at the end, feel free to throw them in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. But we'll get started here. All right, so naturally you start like this, and one of the most important things I can think of is making sure that line is on there. It's got to start on you real tight, otherwise things slip and turn and it doesn't go on tight. What I'm using today is the Trilene, if I can keep a hold of it here, Trilene Cold Weather 2-pound line. Show you guys there. It's just I think it's actually called Electric Blue. I use that. It's a good line. I've used it for years. I don't ever really have to worry about fish being line shy, things like that. And I've got other reels. Actually, I'm going to show you one with braid as well and what I do there. But we'll get this started. And I start plain and simple. You can run it through all your line guides, especially on these short rods, these 23-inch rods. You're not reaching way out there, but we'll start here at the bottom one. So get her fed through the line guide. Make sure your bail's open, because nothing's more frustrating than when you get this tied on and you go to reel and your bail's been closed the whole time and it doesn't crank any line in. So pretty simple. I just start by taking the end of my line. I know you guys can't see my line here, but I just tie a overhand knot on the end of my line. Get it in there, just like so. I got quite a bit of tag there, so I'll trim just a touch of that off. You can see it here, just like that. And what that does is I'm going to go around this reel and I'm going to tie another overhand knot, or maybe it's a square knot. That's going to cinch down on here, and as that line pulls through that second knot on the spool, this overhand knot we got tied on the end of this is going to catch, and that's what's going to cinch it down and keep it tight on your spool. That way when you start reeling, it doesn't just spin around. So we'll make that loop around. We'll tie that double overhand knot. 1, 2, and then you pull that tight. And there we go. My knot is caught and it's in. So we are good to just start cranking on. Now I will say, I have a 110-yard spool, and I'm sure this one holds more than that. So I'm not going to run into any issues here. This one will hold 280 yards of 2-pound test. I only have 110, and that's fine. What I like to do is I like to leave at very minimum 1/8 of an inch showing. It's not like a bait caster where you fill that thing over the top and then you get a cast out there and you really crank it on tight, or you tie it to a tree or whatever. That'll keep that line. When you've got some extra spool there, it almost acts as a stop. So when you're casting, which you're not going to do with an ice rod, but when you're just pulling a little bit of line out, it's not going to jump off the spool like that and create a whole bunch of twists and bird nests for you. So the other important part that I do is my line's going on my spool clockwise. So you want to make sure it comes off this filler spool. And if you have a bulk spool, that's fine, but either way, that make sure it's coming off the spool from the factory counterclockwise. And essentially that means it's going onto the reel the exact same way. And that helps prevent that line twist. And things like that. I know some guys, you can buy I think they call it reel snot, or like a silicone spray, things like that, and that just helps eliminate the memory and a lubrication and things like that. I've never used it personally. I've never had to, but I don't doubt that it works just fine. So I just set my spool on the floor here like that, and then what I do is I pinch just right here, a little bit up from the reel, down from the eye, and that line is going to come off that spool again counterclockwise and come through my hands. I put a pretty good squeeze on it just to really pull on it and make sure it's tight on my spool here. So we'll get cranking, and once I should be able to put this whole spool on there with no issues, but I do like to leave about 1/8 of an inch on the end. So get going, just crank it in there. You'll feel the heat between your fingers, that's for sure. You know, and you can stop halfway through or so and just check, make sure that line's going on there tight. You know, ice fishing, it's a problem. You got light jigs and things like that. It doesn't really have a chance once it's lined, that as you reel in these jigs, or you know, maybe these little smaller fish you're getting on these light rods, it doesn't have a chance to really tighten down on that spool. So you got to do it to start with, I guess, in my opinion. So like I said, just stop and check. It's going on there tight. Nothing's even moving right now, so we'll just keep going. Oh, got the wrong one there. There we go. Back at her. we're getting to the end here, and we got it. So that's it. Like I said, this spool will hold 280 yards. To me, if I need 280 yards when I'm ice fishing, then I've locked into something that's probably going to break my line anyway. I've always had pretty good luck with the 110 yards. It keeps a pretty good lip here. If I was to try to fill this with 280 yards, I would make sure I left that 1/8 of an inch on the side of the spool here. So now we're ready to finish it out through the ice, tie on a jig, and this reel is ready to go. So the other thing I do, and I've got a spoolie rod I'll show you. If I'm lining a schoolie rod, and this one's got, I think it's a Cajun line. It's a red line. It's 2 pounds. And what I do there is, when I line these, what I like to do is, it's going to go on the spool over the top as I crank it in. So it's going to, actually I'm right-handed, so it's going to go underneath. I make sure it comes off the spool in the opposite direction, and we keep it in line. It keeps the line twist. We're not going to pull it off the top. But again, prevents line twist. Now when I do braid, such as this reel, and this is a Shields rod, 24-inch medium heavy. That's just a medium. Much stiffer rod. I use this for jigging for pike and things like that. This one I'm lining up with a 6-pound line, and I'm using an ice braid. I've actually never used an ice braid before. And this one's from Suffix. Show that to you there. It's a Suffix Ice Braid. I've never personally used it. I use braid on all my summertime rods, things like that. But I'm going to spool this on there the same way. The only thing I'm going to do different is I left my mono on there. I probably left about 50 yards of mono on there. And that's just going to act as a backer. I tied it on the same way, and then I connected the mono to the braid with a, I call it a blood knot, but I think there's different names for it. Basically, it's just a line you can look up. You can see them on YouTube, you can see them on Google, whatever. It just connects to 2 lines, and it's just an inline knot. And then I crank that on in the same fashion. It's got to come off the spool counterclockwise. It's going to go on this spool clockwise. Still pinch it tight, make sure it gets on there tight, and I'm going to make sure I leave that eighth of an inch there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to go ahead and spool this up. But if you do something different, I'd absolutely appreciate to hear it. Please throw a comment below if you could like the video. I appreciate it. If you could subscribe. I'm gonna try to keep bringing some tips to you here throughout the ice season. Hopefully I can bring you more footage than I did during bow season. But bow season's not over. I got till January 10th here in Iowa, so stick with us. We're trying our hardest. It's been a tough winter. It's been a busy year. New jobs, you know, new cars, new life, new houses, things like that. So hang tight with us, and we'll keep trying to bring you footage. But like I said, you really can see everything outdoors. So if you could throw us a like and subscribe, we'd appreciate it. Hang in there.